For more than a century, Asheville, North Carolina has been the destination for artists, architects, and adventurers seeking wide-open spaces to find inspiration and refuge. And lately, Asheville has become the Tar Heel State's Renaissance city, with a vibrant art scene and crafts of every kind. But it is the mix of tradition with innovation that sets this city apart. Beneath the mist hugging the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina, the area around Asheville first emerged as a crossroads of Native American trails. At the turn of the 18th century, an outpost formed that would eventually become the Asheville of today. But even as the city has changed over hundreds of years, one constant has remained: the majesty of the Blue Ridge Mountains.
There are plenty of great views along the Blue Ridge Parkway, but if you want the real hidden gem, you gotta come early, start in the dark.
But it won't be dark long as the morning palette of color slowly emerges. And you also may not be alone for long.
So what do you think about our Appalachian sunrise?
It's pretty amazing because we're both above the clouds and below them.
It's very dynamic. Like, you feel the landscape here as the wind and the mist kind of travel over the mountains. Want to see one of my favorite trails?
I do.
Okay, come with me.
All right.
If you want to find the best trails, ask someone who lives here, like Jennifer Farr Davis, who has clocked over 14,000 miles of hiking on 6 different continents.
Love the sound of the creek.
But even after hiking all over the world, Asheville always calls her back home.
There's no other place like the Southern Appalachians. This is the home of the Cherokee people, and they knew better than anyone that every single one of these plants, the biodiversity of the forest, it all works together. And I love coming out here because you just feel like you're a part of nature.
As ancient as nature may feel, most of these woods are relatively young, having been originally cleared out by loggers a century ago, before the land was sold to become a national park.
The fact that Mother Nature can heal herself, to me, is so hopeful as we think about how to care for the planet, right? Most people would never walk here and think, oh my gosh, this was clear-cut and barren 100 years ago, because it's come back so strong. It's so full of life. It's so lush and verdant, and so it makes me want to really try to take care of it too.
Jennifer is hardly the first person to be captivated by the land around Asheville. In the 1880s, one of the richest men in America, George Vanderbilt, purchased 120,000 acres here to construct the Biltmore Estate, which remains America's largest home. Every year, 1.4 million people visit this place. But if you want to do it the right way, then get here early before all the tour buses arrive. And then you just walk in. Most visitors take the elevator because the ride itself is steeped in history. Installed in 1895, they are the oldest operating electric lifts in the United States, but they only go up to the 3rd floor. My advice? Skip the elevator and do it the old-fashioned way. Take the stairs, and at the 3rd floor, keep going. Because what most people don't know, there's an unbelievable 360-degree view from the roof. If you look down, you'll see the gardens, designed by a man considered the father of landscape architecture, Frederick Law Olmsted.
Guests of George Vanderbilt, if they walked through the house and they got into the gardens, they would come and take a ramble through the gardens, and this was one of the locations that they would come to.
Well, this is definitely a ramble.
It is a ramble.
Parker Andes is director of horticulture for the Biltmore. And for him, the pinnacle of Olmsted's design is outside the main garden that most people see.
Just past the old-growth white oak, one of the larger trees on the property, we turn left. For my secret spot is a little spring.
That is really good.
It is. Remember, next time you come, you have to go about 20 paces beyond that big katsura tree, turn to the left,
Or I'm gonna miss it.
or you're gonna miss it.
And I don't wanna miss it.
No, it's special.
Asheville has many other striking buildings that sprung up during the Roaring '20s. If you grab an e-bike, it's easy to cruise around and make your own spontaneous architecture tour. But if you get tired of craning your neck and want to connect with a little nature, find this gravel road in Weaverville, about 20 minutes from Asheville.
So he is 10 times stronger than you and me. If we shake hands, we're 20 to 30 pounds per square inch in our grip. He's 200 to 400.
So I'm not shaking hands today.
Not with him.
You could lose a finger.
You could.
This is Sam Adams, a 14-year-old Harris's hawk, and his hunting buddy, licensed falconer Jeff Curtis.
So we do hunt with these birds.
You do?
Yeah, so Sam Adams likes to go after rabbits. So when I'm hunting with him, I'm the dog trying to flush his rabbit, and he comes in and kills it.
To truly get the full experience, you've got to take a walk to Jeff's private meadow.
This is all part of his routine. He knows when the hood comes off.
He's getting ready.
Yep, you're gonna be the feeder, not the food.
I like that. Thank you for basically making that clear.
I'm gonna give you a little piece of meat, and as I back away, you're gonna raise that glove right
Just like
out
that.
here. Yep. Let's see what our boy's thinking about. Sam!
He already ate it.
He did.
That was fast.
He did. The only thing he wants is that piece of food.
I'm feeling much relieved.
Artists have long flocked to Asheville, but to find one who paints for your taste buds, you must travel down a winding road, through a garden of glass and gargoyles, to a house straight out of a Grimm's fairy tale.
Hey,
Hey,
how are you?
good, welcome.
What do we got here?
This is a tank of milk that's turned into an Asiago cheese.
Victor Choriza has been making cheese since he was a kid, and professionally for more than a decade.
This is Asiago.
This is gonna be an Asiago cheese, so what we have to do now is drain the whey.
And if you ask, you get to help. Today, we're making Asiago. It's not a simple cheese. It must be heated to a high temperature of 125 degrees using 4 different cultures. First, we pour the curd into a mold. Then we cap it and put it in a press for a few hours before dropping it in a brine tank, then salting it for 5 days. Then it's off to the cave to age.
This is the cave.
It's where the cheese magic happens.
This is where the magic happens.
Victor's magical cave was DIY.
Dug back until I hit bedrock. We did 3 concrete walls, and the back wall is natural bedrock. So when it rains, the water will actually seep in through down into the floor drain. It's like the French terroir with the wine. You get the flavor of the actual land. And it does make a difference. This cheese tastes much different than if it was aged in a walk-in cooler.
But I needed to taste that difference for myself.
Wow.
Nice and right.
I got to tell you, Victor, when I think camembert, the words North Carolina don't exactly pop into my head.
Well, we are in Western North Carolina, in Common Bear. Fits.
I got to tell you, it's excellent.
Asheville doesn't just have these natural cheese caves. It also has these classic warehouses. They once supported shipping from the nearby French Broad River and Railroad, but a flood in 1916 devastated this area, leaving much of the warehouses empty. Decades later, the area was revitalized as the River Arts District to provide affordable spaces for artists of all kinds to hone their crafts.
Ultimately, the art form is problem solving. You have to problem solve every single chair.
David Klingler and his wife Brandy Clements are the owners of the Silver River Center for Chair Caning.
We weave another lifetime into it. The frames have been around for hundreds of years, and the frames will outlast us all.
If you can catch Brandy at work, she'll gladly teach just about anybody.
Okay, so you understand, of course, I failed woodworking.
Yes. If you can count to 1, you're all good. So shaker tape weaving is a warp weft process. The warp is basically woven around the front and back rails. We put the warp on and we've got a few rows woven in, and you're gonna go under one and over one, under one.
Okay, so it goes under this one here.
You got
and
it.
then this one goes over here.
Yep.
I'm gonna major in arts and crafts.
You're a
then.
prodigy.
Yeah, please. Can every chair be rehabilitated?
Most every chair, but a good old-fashioned chair fire is very cathartic as well.
You don't get a lot of pleasure from that.
We do, yes. We have a lot of
burn chairs?
Yes, we just sacrifice to the chair gods.
Brandy and David's place has hundreds of chairs, each with their own story and history. But the main way of sorting chairs is determined by how long you want your guests to visit.
So in North Carolina, there are 2 types of chairs. There's the setting chair, where you want people to hang out for a while.
So this is the comfortable chair.
Yes, it's got nice hand curved back splats.
Oh yeah.
Armchair.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah. And then you've got the ones where you would just want people to move on.
That would be the uncomfortable chair.
Yes. Ugh. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Wine, art, uncomfortable chairs. The River Arts District has everything. And of course, beer.
We now have over 35 brewing operations in Asheville, which is less than 90,000 people. That's crazy, isn't it?
On a per capita basis, everybody's drinking beer then.
Oh, without a doubt. Well, the few that don't, the rest of them make up for it, so.
Oscar Wong is the founder of Highland Brewing, and he chose this location for a very specific reason.
We have first crack at the water up here. We're on top of the mountain. We have excellent water. And that's what drew all the breweries after we did.
Yeah, but you were the first.
First legal one.
Well, they're still making moonshine in the hills.
Oh, absolutely. To this day.
Oscar founded Asheville's first brewery in 1994, but his love of beer goes back much farther than that.
I have had beer since I was 11 years old. My father used to give me a couple ounces of beer on a Sunday after cooking for hours because he needed to calm down the hot foods, and I still enjoy it to this day. In fact, I need it every day.
Are you still drinking?
Only a couple pints a day.
A couple of pints a day.
Yeah.
And how old are you?
I'm 81.
So that's the secret.
A big part of it, without a doubt.
If Oscar has his father to thank for his love of beer, he's keeping it in the family. His daughter, Leah Ashburn, is currently the president and CEO, and she's expanding beyond the beer with a passion of her own.
I love volleyball. This is my dream come true. I've been here for 10 years.
These professional-grade beach volleyball courts were constructed at the brewery in 2020, with sand sourced right from nearby Spruce Pine in the Blue Ridge Mountains. They're open to the public. No beer purchase expected or required.
There's a lot of special things about Asheville. My family was drawn here well over 20 years ago and drawn by the culture, the people, the beautiful resources, the art, the fresh air, everything. My dad added to Asheville by creating a brewery that was clearly going to be a contributor to the community.
Here, the volleyball courts bring the community together. And in that spirit, if you're nice, Leah might even let you score a few points.
You win.